I'm on mobile, sorry for formatting. This kinda urgent. I need advice as soon as possible as they are literally on the way. RNTL. Doctor, my dad is bringing his new wife, affair partner, a home wrecker, to the family function without telling me in advance. Point, I haven't seen her since she broke up our family 10 years ago and I DK what to say to her. Important backstory. Way back in 2011 I was 11 and had a best friend, Liz. We were inseparable. Soon enough, our parents became good friends too. The four of them would all hang out and talk while Liz and I played. Fast forward to a random day in summer of 2012, I wake up to my mother absolutely hysterical, literally screaming at the top of her lungs. Turns out Liz's mom, Mary, had just called my mom to let her know that my dad and her had been having an affair. Behind everyone's back. All those times where my mom and dad and Liz's mom and dad were hanging out as two couples, Mary and my dad had been secretly fooling around. Shit really hit the fan after that. My mom had several mental breakdowns. Turns out she had undiagnosed bipolar. She honestly blamed me partially for the affair happening because they all met because of me and my friendship with Liz. My dad left and didn't come back. Mary's husband kicked her out, divorced her and kept the kids. I never spoke to Liz ever again. A couple months later my mom randomly ran into Mary on the street. Words were exchanged and Mary slapped my mom in the face, leading to a physical altercation. Mary was arrested. Shortly after this incident my mom packed up our stuff and we left the country. I never got to say goodbye to anyone. My mom and I moved to America while my dad stayed overseas. We had very little communication over the years, but in late 2021 my dad confessed to me that Mary had actually gotten married after all that. Apparently they are really happy together. He talks about her better than he has ever spoken about my mom. Fast forward to right now. All of our family is gathered for a funeral and my dad is flying in. Another family member let it slip that my dad is bringing his wife, Mary, with him. I guess everyone knew except me. They'll be here any minute now and I really don't know what to say to her. On the one hand I'm happy that my dad is happy, but on the other hand it's super messed up how they got together. Also my mom has consistently referred to Mary as the B*TCH that ruined our lives, and I know for a fact that if I speak to her my mom will take it as an ultimate betrayal. You're not obligated to speak with her, but remember your *DAD* was the willing participant in the affair. She didn't force him to do anything he didn't want to do. Her dad sounds like just as much a homewrecker as this woman. Very good point. He was the interloper in this woman's family. This woman had a husband and a daughter too who probably feel similarly to Op about the situation. Grab two people you can trust like a cousin or close friend. Tell them you need help keeping a wall between you and Mary and even your dad. They should be like very calm bouncers. This happens at funerals all the time. Ignore them completely. This is what my family did when I had to be at my brother's graduation with a strange dad attending. I actually had no idea of their plan until they confessed after the party, but I didn't feel any worry or anxiety with my protective aunties and Jocasta cousins always nearby. Even with dad on the opposite side of the venue, I had a good time. The family all had agreed beforehand that there'd be one person close to me and at least one person watching a short distance away, ready to swoop in if I looked distressed. It's a good plan for you too. You don't have to have a bunch of people acting as bodyguards, but have 2 to 3 close relatives to help you. Yikes. Your parents unfairly put you in the middle of their relationship, not just Mary. Your mom and dad did wrong things. Obviously your dad the most wrong. You don't need to acknowledge your dad and his wife if you don't want to. If they attempt to, just don't engage. Have someone with you at all times. If you need an advocate, if your mom is going to be present too, don't let her drag you into drama. Their relationship is not to involve you. If you need to say that once, say it. Absolutely, they both involved me in their relationship drama at an age where I was way too young to be involved. Mary spoke to me when she arrived. I was cordial and polite and waved at her, but I have been lucky enough to avoid her since. Just chilling with other family members ATM. Leaving is totally an option. You don't owe your dad a relationship, you don't owe your mom support, and you don't owe the app anything. Be kind to yourself. If you don't want to, you aren't obligated to speak to her. You can give her a polite sorry, but I'd rather not. She can make your dad as happy as possible, but it doesn't negate the damage she did to you, and you're allowed to want to speak to her as much, or as little as you want. What matters is what you want, not your mom, not your dad, not Mary. I'd personally be a little pettier, and keep it to a quick no thanks. Like she's offering you something you're not interested in. Because you're not. She honestly blamed me partially for the affair happening, because they all met because of me, and my friendship with Liz. This is wrong, wrong, wrong. It's a funeral, so a lot of chat shouldn't be necessary. I'd say hello, shake her hand, then not speak to her again, if I didn't want to. Please don't let what your mother may think direct what you do here, though. Your mother is not you. Right? Imagine blaming your 11-year-old in any way for your marriage blowing up because your dad had an affair with your friend's mom. That's all kinds of messed up. Although I agree Mary is a puss, your dad equally ruined the marriage, so you should hold him in the same contempt that you hold Mary. It takes two to do the deed, and so both share equal blame. It's been a decade since this happened, though maybe could bygones just let be bygones? Sad you went through so much pain. I hope you're in a better place in life now. You have to make a choice. Let go of the hurt and anger, or hold on and never get past it. This isn't about your parents anymore. It's about you. Thank you. I'm in a better place. I moved out at 18, so I don't have to rely on either of my parents anymore. I'm trying to work through the things that happened when I was younger. TBH, I'm uncovering new childhood trauma all the time. Your dad is literally just as responsible. Just slip out a back or side door and leave. Deny your father the satisfaction of either forcing you to speak to him and side piece, or getting to kick up a fuss if you refuse. Leave and go get ice cream or something else that is a treat, and screen your calls the rest of the time he's in town. Listen, Mary didn't break up your family, your father did. You don't have to speak to either of them, and if you can't hold your tongue, I recommend politely excusing yourself. You're right. I think the reason I blame Mary so much is because according to my mom, my dad has cheated before, but it was with random women she didn't know, so she was able to take him back. Mary was my mom's friend who she regularly hung out with, talked to and trusted. The betrayal was just too much, and that's what led to **** blowing up the way it did. Look up Grey Rock technique via Google. Super easy concept to learn. Use it. Focus on it. It will help. Good luck. It doesn't sound like wants her dad to lose interest though. Honestly, just avoid your father and marry and stay with your mother at all times. You are under absolutely no obligation to say one single word to her. Do what I did to my ex-grandmother at my uncle's funeral. Every time she tries to speak to you, just stare at her and make it awkward. Or just walk away. While it was your father who ruined your family, she sure the **** helped, and there is no need for you to play nice. If it bothers you to, you'll likely not see her again for years. Anyways, best of luck. Pretend she doesn't exist. Look straight through her. Don't acknowledge her existence in any way. Shit, do that to your dad too. I have no words. If I were there, I'd just squeeze your hand and tell you that you got this. Thank you. I'd appreciate that. Make it a double funeral. Bet. I like your style. Seriously though, thanks for the laugh. I needed that. You don't have to speak to her at all. That's what I would do. Her and your dad can be happy now, but the way they got together destroyed years of other people's lives. Yes. Also, you know she's, along with your dad, a conniving backstabber, so I'd be careful around her regardless. She might just be petty enough to contact your mom about seeing you. I would ignore both dad and the home wrecker. To be fair, dad wrecked his own home. You and your mom need stop referring to Mary as the one who broke up the marriage, because your father did that. He was the one took vows. Mary did betray your mom's friendship, which is terrible, but your dad betrayed marriage vows, even worse. The marriage did not seem like a good one, though. Your mom was undiagnosed, and clearly your dad was unfulfilled. So maybe divorce was for the best. Your mom and dad will still always be family. So, your family just shifted, but still exists in some way. Mary is not a homewrecker, but is his wife, who you acknowledge, seems to make him happy. So, that's the situation and her title now. If you accept your dad, there's no need for you to keep blaming Mary. I personally would not speak to her too much, if it would upset your mom. But you might have to at least say hi. Let your mom know ahead of time, so she can prepare. Encourage your mom to be confident, and not let Mary bother her. Stay by your mom's side for support. Just avoid talking to her as much as possible. I doubt she'll be dumb enough to try and insert herself into conversations, especially considering it's a funeral. If your mum is there with you, mainly focus on keeping her as far away from Mary as possible, as it is still someone's funeral and that would be respected. I still refer to the woman who broke up my marriage as the home-wrecking BTCH. No need to sugarcoat it. No need to have an event, but you also don't really need to speak to her. You certainly do not need to be polite. BTW, my ex-husband also married THWB, and she came to my son's wedding. Turns out she was very nervous being there and meeting me. I was polite, but curt. Edit. All the people saying your dad is to blame are also correct. You don't need to be effusive about his presence either. You stay on your side, they can stay on theirs. If she can actually slap your mother in the face, she is toxic, and you shouldn't speak W her or acknowledge her. I say get comfortable W your boundaries RN on what you want, and what you are able to deal with. I iced out my dad's app. It's been probably almost 25 plus years, but I jaff. She's nothing to me. You're an adult, and can act the way you want to. I should add that I iced her out when I was 9 years old. I'm civil now, but still icy. The only person to blame for the affair is your dad, since he was the one who did the affair. Also, I would just ignore her and don't engage, since you don't owe her anything. Except Op obviously wants to maintain somewhat of a relationship to her dad, and while I agree that the circumstances of them getting together are sketchy, apparently it wasn't just some fling, she's literally his wife. If Op wants to have that aforementioned relationship, completely ignoring her is really not a realistic and good option. Honestly, despite your dad's infidelity, it sounds like your mom is a horrid one here. Undiagnosed bipolar is a nightmare to live with. And the way she kept you from your dad and trashes him to your face, the way she blamed you for your family breaking up. I would give your dad and her a chance. I would agree that everyone sucks here. My mom was a nightmare to live with. Her mental illness caused me a whole heap of trauma unrelated to this, but she was my primary caregiver and did her best with me. I think I would have a lot easier time forgiving Mary if she was just some random lady my dad cheated with, but she was my mom's *friend*. She knew about my parents' relationship, my mom trusted her, and she still continued to have the affair while acting buddy-buddy with my mother. This is the exact plot to Life and Beth lol. Even the ex-BFF's name is Liz. Wait, really? I've never even heard of that. Do not talk to them, father and new wife, since in 10 years or so didn't want to contact with you. Or you can ask her about your friend, her dog, if she know how your friend was, or how to contact her. Let them know that they ruined your friendship and childhood. Let them know that both are selfish. If you don't want to make a scene, tell them that the funeral is not the place and time, and if they want to talk as a growth persons about it, you can go to another place. The best for you is not talk to them. Regardless of who's at fault, blindsiding you and forcing you to confront the situation suddenly and without discussing with you first isn't fair. Also, you deserve some grace from your mom. It's not a great spot for you to be in either. Maybe quickly discuss that with her. That's tough. Sorry Op. Absolutely, it is shitty that they told everyone but me that she was coming. I guess my dad knew I'd freak out, but I 100% would have preferred a heads up. Sucks a lot your parents were unable to spare you then in their dysfunction and still can't put you before their own crap. I had a similar experience with my family when I was young. To be honest, I think the best thing is to start moving forward. The affair happened 10 years ago. You are all adults now. Your dad has found happiness with Mary, so they are obviously in love with each other. It sucks that your mom is living in the past and will probably never get over what happened. That has become her choice. It doesn't have to be your choice though. My mother was the same way. She never got over the divorce from my dad. The question is, do you want a relationship with your father? I say be polite to Mary. You don't have to have a relationship with her, but you only have one dad. Showed up too late to tell Op to beat her ass. How unfortunate. Me too. Maybe it's just me, but I wanna beat her, and his asterisk for Opus. I would avoid your dad and Mary. Stick with other family members, and if they come and say hello, respectfully wave and move along. Your mom honestly comes off as an abusive piece of shit. Blaming her child for the actions of a grown man is disturbing behavior, and then continuing to misplace all her emotions and expectations onto you for a relationship you have zero control over is just evil. People like her have a nice seat in hell waiting for them. Your father isn't blameless here, but at least he doesn't try to manipulate you into thinking one way or the other. Your mother behaves more like a teenager than an adult.